Chosen one, let me ask you something that perhaps you've never had the chance to answer honestly, not even to yourself. Have you ever felt like your love life just doesn't make sense? Like no matter how deep your heart reaches, no matter how sincerely you offer your affection, the connection always feels too much or not enough. You give everything, yet you walk away feeling heavier than before. Not broken, just strangely burdened, like something sacred inside of you was touched in the wrong way.
Like your soul was opened.
But not honored, and the world, it tells you to move on, to laugh it off, to treat it all as normal. But you've always known, you were never made for normal. That ache you carry isn't weakness. It's wisdom, a quiet knowing that your love, your body, your energy, was designed for something far more sacred than the world understands. You're not too sensitive. You're not too intense. You're not too emotional. You're chosen. And that changes everything, because your intimacy isn't just physical. It's spiritual. It's energetic. It's ancestral. When you connect with someone, you don't just touch flesh. You merge spirit. You open energetic doors. You absorb what others release, whether they mean to or not. You felt it, haven't you? That unexplained exhaustion after being close to someone. That lingering heaviness that isn't yours. That confusion that follows encounters that were supposed to be pleasurable. But your spirit is ancient. It sees what the eyes don't. It hears what the ears miss. And what you've been calling drama, heartbreak, or even guilt is often the aftershock of spiritual misalignment, because chosen ones don't do casual. We can't. Our energy was not built for surface level. Our love does not play by the rules of lust. Your soul recognizes truth long before your mind does. And when your body is touched by someone who isn't aligned, your energy knows, your spirit recoils, your clarity clouds, your light dims, not because you're weak, but because you're sacred. Tonight, something within you is being remembered. And I don't just mean your mind, I mean your essence. The ancient knowing that your sexuality is not shameful. It is not sinful, it is sacred. You've been feeling the pull to understand this for a long time, to stop apologizing for how deeply you feel, to stop carrying the weight of others' wounds in your spirit, to stop confusing soul ties for love and draining yourself in the name of connection. This message didn't find you by accident. It was timed with divine precision, because now you're ready to reclaim your power, ready to understand why intimacy affects you the way it does, ready to rise into the truth of who you are and why your body, your spirit, your desires were set apart since before you were born. If you feel this in your soul, if every word is striking something you've never put into words before, then leave 777 in the comments right now, not because it's a trend, but because it's a sign, a signal to yourself, to the divine, that you are awakening to the truth of your spiritual design. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who carries light like you, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see yourself and your sexuality forever. Before you can fully protect your energy, before you can reclaim your power, your clarity, and your divine connection, you must understand one thing. Sexual energy is not just physical. It was never meant to be. From the beginning of time, intimacy has been one of the most powerful spiritual forces that exist. But the world has stripped it down, turned it into something casual, empty, recreational, void of meaning. They told you sex is just a body touching another body. A biological release, a physical hunger that can be satisfied and then forgotten. But deep down, your soul never believed that, because for you, chosen one, intimacy has always been sacred, whether you realized it or not. And every time you crossed that energetic threshold, something shifted inside you. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. Sexual energy is the life force. It is creation itself. It is the energy that opens spiritual gates, either for light or for darkness. When two people come together in intimacy, they don't just share pleasure. They share frequency. They share intention. They share wounds, memories, vibrations, and energetic weight. And here's what makes you different. You don't just feel the moment. You absorb it, you absorb the atmosphere. You absorb the other person's pain, even if they never speak it. You absorb their trauma, their spiritual condition, their confusion, even their darkness. You might not notice it at first. But after they leave, you're not the same. You're tired in a way that rest can't fix. You're heavy in a way that silence can't soothe. You're anxious in a way that logic can't explain. That's not overthinking. That's energetic residue. Because what entered you was not just a body. It was a blueprint. It was a field of energy that collided with yours and rearranged the room inside your spirit. Chosen one, you were never meant to treat intimacy casually. Your system wasn't built for it. Your soul doesn't know how to forget what it absorbed. It carries everything, even when your heart moves on. Even when your mind tries to let go, pieces of their energy remain. This is why your memories of certain people feel more like hauntings than history. It's why, even years later, your body still remembers the touch. Your soul still remembers the chaos, because you didn't just share an experience. You made a spiritual agreement. And now you're carrying the echoes of a contract you never meant to sign. The world can sleep with strangers and move on in peace. But you were never meant to. Because your energy is open, receptive, and high frequency, which means it not only attracts, it magnifies. When you love someone, they feel whole. They feel seen. They feel alive, because your light amplifies everything inside them. But here's the danger. That light can heal, or it can be harvested. It can be honored or taken. And when it's taken by someone unworthy, it leaves you fragmented, scattered, depleted, and suddenly you begin to question yourself. Your worth, your desires, your sanity. But hear this now, you are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are spiritually aware, and your body, your sacred vessel, is screaming for protection. Because what you've been told is normal was never normal for you. You were set apart. Your sexuality was meant to be an extension of your purpose, a vehicle for healing, creation, and divine union, not a revolving door of energetic confusion. This is why, when you're intimate with someone who is aligned with your frequency, the experience is completely different. You feel lighter, clearer, closer to the divine, as if your soul is expanding in every direction, because that energy exchange was sacred, balanced, holy. But when the person is spiritually disconnected, when their intentions are impure, when their soul is not walking in light, your system knows, even if your body's hungry, even if your heart is lonely, your spirit will speak, and if you ignore it, the consequences will always come. Not as punishment, but as disruption. You won't be able to pray. You'll struggle to meditate. You'll feel off, uncentered, like someone else's voice is echoing in your head, because spiritually, it is. That's the cost of energetic fusion without discernment. And for the chosen ones, the cost is always higher. So the next time you feel the pull to connect with someone physically, ask yourself, is this union leading me into light? Or will it leave me fighting for my peace again? Your body is sacred. Your energy is rare. And your sexuality is not something to apologize for. It's something to protect. Because for someone like you, chosen one, sex will never be just sex. It will always be sacred. And it will always have consequences, either for your elevation or your erosion. The choice is now yours. The world has normalized something that was never meant to be normal. It teaches you that sex is just another activity, a release, a transaction, a moment of passion that means nothing beyond itself. It tells you that bodies are made to be shared, and that it's fine, natural even, to give yourself to someone simply because you feel like it. And for some, maybe that's enough. But chosen one, you are not some. You were never designed to follow the world's rhythm. You were never meant to love without meaning or to give without discernment. Because for you, intimacy is not neutral. It is energetic fusion, a collision of frequencies. And with every act, something is either built within you or broken. This is why what the world calls casual leaves you in pieces. Because when you engage in intimacy outside of divine alignment, you are not just touching another person's body. You are opening a spiritual portal, and whatever they carry, be it trauma, fear, addiction, confusion, or spiritual darkness, flows directly into you. It's not always visible. It doesn't always show up the next day, but it settles quietly in your energy field, and over time, you feel it. You feel it in the heaviness in your chest, in the way your thoughts become cloudy, in how your spiritual life begins to falter, in how you stop hearing divine guidance clearly, in how your peace becomes harder to find. Suddenly, you can't meditate the way you used to. Your prayers feel blocked. You feel disconnected, disoriented, scattered, and you blame yourself. But the truth is this: your energy has been compromised. Your frequency has been diluted by a connection that wasn't meant for your spirit. The spiritual cost of casual sex is clarity, its alignment, its purpose. And for someone like you, whose mission depends on sharpness and divine sensitivity, that cost is devastating. Because chosen ones do not have the luxury of being careless with their energy. We are not permitted to blend with what we are meant to transform. And intimacy with the wrong person doesn't just slow your progress. It opens the door for attack. What begins as desire quickly turns into confusion. What seemed exciting becomes chaotic, and what you thought would fulfill you leaves you feeling polluted. You felt it before, haven't you? That moment after, when everything is quiet. And yet, instead of feeling nourished, you feel invaded. Not because the act itself was wrong, but because the person was never meant to access the sacred space within you. Chosen one, your body is a temple. Your energy is divine currency, and your sexuality is a spiritual key. When used in alignment, it unlocks healing, revelation, deep connection, and even favor. But when misused, it opens gates that were never meant to be opened. That's why, for you, lust is more than temptation, it's spiritual warfare. It blinds your discernment. It lures you into counterfeit intimacy, and it places you in emotional and spiritual agreements that were never part of your destiny. You may have noticed that certain relationships didn't just hurt you emotionally, they delayed you spiritually. They confused your path. They drained your focus. They blurred your intuition. They silenced your divine voice. And while the world says, just move on, your soul knows better. Because what you shared wasn't just time. It was energy, and that energy left a trace. This is why you can't afford to treat sex like everyone else does. Because you are not like everyone else. You are chosen, and your calling requires that you move with intention, even in desire. It's not about shame. It's about stewardship, not about rules, but reverence. Not repression, but spiritual protection, because when you choose wisely, when you protect your sacred space, when you align your body with your spirit, everything changes, your mind clears, your discernment sharpens, your spiritual power returns. And intimacy, instead of becoming a source of pain, becomes a place of peace. So let this be your reminder. Not everyone deserves access to your body, because not everyone is prepared to carry what comes with your energy. And if this message is revealing something your soul already knew but maybe didn't know how to put into words, then mark this moment. Comment 222 below if you've ever felt the spiritual consequences of a connection that looked good on the surface, but drained you underneath. Let this number be your signpost. A declaration that you are no longer ignoring the cost. You are no longer moving in darkness. You are choosing to protect what is sacred, because now you see clearly your energy is priceless. Chosen one, now that you've begun to awaken to the sacredness of your sexual energy, it's time to open your eyes to a reality most people will never even glimpse. There is a war happening around you. A war that doesn't look like war. It wears a smile. It comes disguised as love, chemistry, desire, connection. But behind the veil of attraction, a spiritual battle is being waged. And for the chosen ones, the battlefield is not out there in the world. It's within the deepest places of the soul. And one of the most dangerous entry points the enemy uses to access that place is intimacy. You see, the world has normalized something that was never meant to be casual. It glorifies pleasure, celebrates lust, and disguises soul fragmentation as freedom. It teaches you that intimacy is just a moment, just two consenting adults making a choice. But chosen one, you were never built to live by the world's standard. What they call casual becomes catastrophic for your spirit. Because for you, every intimate connection is a doorway, a portal through which energy flows, spirits merge, and covenants are made. Whether spoken or not, and this is precisely why the enemy targets your desire. Not because it is dirty or shameful, but because it is sacred. The enemy doesn't attack what is meaningless. He attacks what is powerful, and your sexual energy, your longing for connection, your ability to love on a deep, soul-binding level, is one of the most potent gifts you carry, if it can be redirected, if it can be distorted, if it can be misused. Then the enemy can not only steal your energy, he can delay your purpose, detour your path, and confuse your spirit. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem magnetically drawn to you? As if your presence alone nourishes something inside them. They may come into your life suddenly, passionate, intense, overwhelming. They mirror your language, reflect your values, seem to understand your soul. And yet, slowly, without you even realizing, your light begins to dim, your peace is disrupted, your clarity fades, and before long you're entangled in a connection that leaves you feeling fragmented, spiritually distant, and emotionally exhausted. This is not romance. This is not chemistry. This is spiritual warfare. Some of these people are spiritual parasites. Others are vessels of confusion. And some, whether knowingly or unknowingly, are being used as instruments of spiritual distraction. The enemy sends counterfeit connections to imitate divine partnerships. They look right, they sound right, but they carry frequencies of chaos. And once you merge with them physically, the consequences ripple through your entire being. You feel it in your thoughts, in your mood, in your spiritual life. You start missing signs, ignoring your intuition, drifting from your divine assignment. Why? Because every sexual encounter for you is not just a physical moment. It is a spiritual transaction. A covenant, a merging of energies, timelines, and soul signatures. And when the person you merge with is not aligned with the Creator, that covenant opens doors not to healing but to invasion. Some of you have been battling depression and didn't realize it began after an intimate encounter. Some of you are experiencing night terrors, sleep paralysis, or sudden anxiety because a spiritual doorway was opened through someone who carried darkness. You thought it was just a breakup, but your spirit knows it was something deeper. You weren't just letting go of a person. You were severing a spiritual tie, and part of you is still trying to reclaim what was taken. And here is the truth that few dare to speak. The enemy uses pleasure as a weapon. He uses loneliness as bait. He studies your patterns, watches your wounds, and waits for the perfect moment to send someone who offers the illusion of healing, only to rob you of what is most precious: your focus, your purity, your peace, your sense of self. That's why the stakes are so much higher for you. That's why what seems casual for others leaves you spiritually shattered. Because your energy is rare, your essence is powerful, your soul is highly anointed, and the enemy knows. If he can trap you in a cycle of soul fragmentation, he can keep you from ever stepping into the fullness of your calling. And so, chosen one, this is not a call to shame. This is a call to awakening. You are not weak for wanting love. You are not broken for craving connection. But you must begin to see your sexuality not as something to suppress or indulge, but as something to protect. Your body is a gate. Your spirit is a sanctuary. And not everyone deserves access to what was made holy. This battle will not always look like temptation. Sometimes it will look like a need to be seen, a longing to be held, a desire to be chosen. But remember, not everyone who sees you is meant to have you. Not everyone who wants you is sent by God. Some want your light, but not your soul. Some crave your energy, but not your destiny. Some were assigned not to love you, but to distract you. And until you recognize this battlefield for what it is, you will keep mistaking warfare for romance. You will keep giving your sacred self to people who leave you feeling emptier than before. You will keep calling soul wounds, bad breakups, and spiritual attacks emotional struggles. But chosen one, the moment you awaken to this truth, the moment you begin to see your sexuality as a divine weapon and not a weakness, everything begins to change. You no longer fall for the illusion. You no longer tolerate confusion. You no longer trade your peace for temporary passion. Instead, you become a guardian of your own energy. You become a steward of your own sacredness. You begin to say no, not just to people, but to spiritual contracts disguised as love. And from that place, you rise into clarity. You rise into discernment. You rise into relationships that reflect your divine worth. Because now you see, Intimacy was never meant to be casual for you. It was always meant to be consecrated. Chosen one. Sometimes the greatest battles we face are not the loud ones, not the visible ones. They are the quiet, subtle shifts that happen beneath the surface. And perhaps one of the most dangerous weapons the enemy uses against you is not the obvious attack, but misalignment, spiritual, emotional, energetic, the kind that sneaks in slowly, one feeling at a time, the kind that doesn't announce itself with thunder, but drains you like a slow leak in your soul. You may have thought you were just tired. Maybe you blamed the weather, your schedule, or your emotions, but somewhere deep inside, your spirit began whispering, something isn't right. And if you've been listening closely, if you've felt off, confused, or weighed down after certain connections, this is the message your soul has been waiting for. Spiritual misalignment doesn't always scream. It doesn't always show up in chaos. In fact, it often disguises itself as chemistry, as potential, as passion. And that's what makes it so dangerous. You see, chosen ones are built to connect deeply. You don't do shallow. When you love, you open everything. Your body, your mind, your spirit, all of it becomes a channel for divine energy. But if that channel becomes entangled with someone not walking in alignment with divine truth, it begins to corrupt the flow within you. Have you ever felt a sudden exhaustion after being with someone? Not just physical tiredness, but soul fatigue. The kind of heaviness that rest doesn't fix? That wasn't just your body reacting. It was your spirit signaling that your energy had been tampered with. Because for you, intimacy isn't neutral. It's sacred. It's spiritual. And when shared with someone carrying chaos, trauma, or unhealed darkness, that energy gets transferred into you, like invisible ink staining the pages of your spirit. And it's not just the body that speaks. The heart begins to ache in ways you can't explain. You wake up sad for no reason, angry without cause, confused about who you are. That's because spiritual misalignment entangles emotions. You don't just pick up on someone's physical presence, you begin to carry their emotional baggage. And because your soul is a vessel of light, you absorb that weight as if it were your own. It becomes hard to tell where they end and you begin. You start confusing their dysfunction for your identity. Maybe you've felt your purpose fading after an encounter. You once had clarity, vision, fire. But suddenly your dreams feel distant, your prayers feel blocked, your inner compass begins to spin. This too is a sign. Misaligned intimacy is a silencer. It mutes divine instruction. It creates interference between your soul and your creator. You try to meditate but feel foggy. You try to worship but feel numb. You try to journal, to listen, to seek, but the line feels scrambled. And that is not your imagination. It is evidence of spiritual contamination. Sometimes it goes even deeper. You may begin to feel watched, haunted, spiritually vulnerable in ways you can't explain. Disturbing dreams, sleep paralysis, shadows in your room. These are not hallucinations. These are spiritual consequences. You may have unknowingly opened a portal through intimacy, and something uninvited stepped through. When your body becomes a temple for another's energy, you inherit not just their affection, but their attachments. And some of those spirits don't leave easily. And then there's the voice, the one that whispers after they're gone. The voice that says you're dirty, that you should have known better, that you're too broken to be loved, that no one will understand you now. That voice is not yours. It's the echo of spiritual misalignment trying to embed shame into your soul. Because the enemy knows, if he can make you feel ashamed of your energy, you'll stop protecting it. You'll self-sabotage. You'll give yourself to people who don't deserve you, just to feel something again. But listen to me now, chosen one. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not too sensitive. You are spiritually attuned. You are chosen. And because of that, your symptoms are not random. They are divine alerts. You're not just tired. You've been energetically drained. You're not just emotional. You're absorbing residue that isn't yours. You're not just unmotivated. Your purpose has been entangled with someone else's timeline. You're not just unlucky in love. You've been under spiritual attack disguised as romance. The moment you begin to recognize the signs is the moment you begin to take your power back. When you name the source of your misalignment, you remove its hold over you. When you become aware, the chain begins to break. Because what the enemy wants is confusion. What darkness feeds on is ignorance.
But light?
Light reveals, and once light has entered, darkness loses its grip. So ask yourself, have I been tired in a way that doesn't make sense? Have I been thinking about someone I don't even want? Have I been doubting my worth since a certain encounter? Has my peace disappeared after letting someone into my space? Have my prayers felt blocked? Has my clarity gone silent? These are not coincidences. These are signs. Your soul has been speaking all along, and now you're finally listening. Comment 444. If you've ever experienced this kind of invisible warfare, and let others know they're not alone. Because your vulnerability could be someone else's breakthrough. Your honesty could be the lifeline for another chosen one still lost in confusion. You were never meant to carry pain in silence. You were never meant to call these chains normal. You were meant to wake up, to rise, to cleanse, to protect your divine frequency, and to walk in spiritual alignment with power, purpose, and peace. And now, you are ready to begin healing, chosen one. After everything you've been through, after every soul tie that left you fragmented, every spiritual invasion that left your light flickering, and every connection that left more wounds than warmth, now is the time to return to yourself. To remember who you are, to cleanse what was never yours to carry, and most of all, to begin the sacred process of healing and protecting the energy that was always meant to be divine. Your sexual energy is not just a part of you. It is a living current, a sacred frequency designed by the Creator to carry light, intimacy, creation, and spiritual power. It is your inner fire, your soul's language of connection. And when misused or left unguarded, it becomes the very door through which confusion, depression, stagnation, and spiritual delay enter your life. But when honored and protected, that same energy becomes a healing force that not only restores you, but elevates everything you touch. So how do you begin? It starts with cleansing, not just the body, but the soul. And not with shame, but with love. You don't cleanse what's dirty. You cleanse what is sacred. You cleanse what has value. You cleanse what deserves to be preserved. So before anything else, release the guilt. Release the regret. Let go of the shame the enemy tried to tattoo on your spirit. That shame never belonged to you. You were never meant to carry it. It was planted there to keep you from protecting what is holy within you. The first act of healing is awareness. Naming the ties, identifying the energies still lingering in your spirit. Those moments you still replay in your mind. That person you haven't seen in years but still feel tied to. The physical memories that trigger emotional confusion. These are not just memories. They are spiritual imprints, and once identified, they must be released. Not ignored, not buried, but released intentionally and chosen one. This release is not a one-time prayer. It's a process, a daily practice of spiritual hygiene, like sweeping a temple, like rinsing an altar. You return again and again to your soul, cleansing it with truth, with presence, with divine light. Speak aloud. I release what is not mine. I sever every tie that was never aligned with my divine purpose. I take back every fragment of my light that was left in the hands of another. I call my spirit back home, whole, clean, restored. Next comes protection, because once you heal, you must guard that healing like a treasure. The same way you protect a wound after it closes or a flame from the wind, your energy must be covered with intention. Protection does not mean isolation. It means discernment. It means being selective with who has access to your energy, your time, your body, your vulnerability. It means learning to say no, not out of fear, but out of reverence for your own light. Start asking the deeper questions before intimacy. Not just do I want them, but are they safe for my spirit? Not just are they attractive, but do they carry peace? Not just can they touch my body, but can they be trusted with my soul? Chosen one. Not everyone who desires you deserves you. Not everyone who praises your light knows how to protect it. And not everyone who makes your heart race was sent by heaven. Some were sent to distract, to derail, to drain. And your spirit always knows the difference, if you listen closely. As you heal, begin to restore your sacred rituals. Return to prayer, not out of routine, but as recalibration. Return to silence, not as escape, but as reconnection. Return to solitude, not as loneliness, but as restoration. In stillness, your spirit will detox. In worship, your energy will realign. In truth, your frequency will rise again. And finally, learn to redirect your sexual energy, not repress it, but elevate it. That fire within you was never meant to burn chaotically. It was meant to fuel your purpose. When temptation comes, don't just fight it, transform it. Channel it into creativity, into movement, into devotion, into divine intimacy with the Creator. Let it become a sacrifice of power, not a source of shame. Chosen one, now that you've walked through every layer of this sacred revelation, now that you've seen what most never dare to face, now that your soul has heard the truth about the weight of your sexuality, the purity of your energy, and the battle that's been waged for your spirit, there is only one direction left to walk. Home. Back to the sacred path you were always meant to walk. Back to the power you were born with. Back to your divine sovereignty. You were never created to blend in with the patterns of this world. You were never meant to participate in intimacy that leaves you broken, confused, or spiritually fragmented. You are not here to carry trauma that doesn't belong to you. You are not here to bleed quietly for the sake of being wanted. You are not here to give your sacred light to people who treat it like entertainment. You are here to reclaim your throne, and that begins with reclaiming your sexual energy. This is no longer about your past. It's not about what they did. It's not about what you allowed. It's not about what you lost. It's about what you're awakening to. The moment your spirit begins to remember its value, the battlefield shifts. You are no longer the one being hunted. You become the one who guards the gates. You are no longer prey to temptation. You become a priest of your own sacred fire. You are no longer confused about your patterns. You become the pattern breaker, the curse breaker, the one who rewrites the legacy. Because the truth is, you were chosen long before you understood what that meant. Your sexual sensitivity, your emotional depth, your strange reactions to intimacy, they weren't flaws. They were signs, markers, proof of your divine assignment. Heaven placed a sacred frequency within your body, your desires, your heart. And that frequency cannot be shared recklessly. It cannot be diluted in shallow connections. It cannot be sustained in lust-based relationships. It was designed for divine partnership, for spiritual alignment, for sacred creation. And yes, the enemy saw that power early. That's why you were targeted. That's why confusion surrounded your relationships. That's why people were sent to distract you, tempt you, drain you, and leave you questioning your worth. It wasn't about your body. It was about your light. They didn't want your affection, they wanted your essence. And every time you gave without discernment, they took more than you realized, but here you are, still standing. And more than that, waking up. You see, healing doesn't mean erasing the past. It means becoming conscious enough to transform it. It means you no longer move from wounded desire, but from divine alignment. It means you don't fear intimacy, you honor it. You don't shame your sexual energy, you bless it. You don't silence your longing, you purify it. Because now your sexuality is no longer a battlefield. It's a sanctuary, a place where only the aligned may enter. A place where you commune not only with another, but with the divine. This sacred fire within you was always meant to burn, but under heaven's direction. It was meant to guide you into sacred union, not spiritual destruction. And that union, when it comes, will not look like the past. It will not be chaotic. It will not drain you. It will not make you question your light. It will amplify it. It will bring clarity. It will honor your boundaries. It will speak your soul's language. And you will know it's right, not just because it feels good, but because your spirit will feel safe. Until then, protect your altar, guard your temple, cleanse your spirit. And know this, every time you say no to temptation, every time you end a soul tie that dishonors your spirit, every time you choose silence instead of chaos, every time you return to yourself after betrayal, you are rising. You are remembering. You are reclaiming your divine inheritance. You are not here to be consumed. You are here to consecrate. You are not here to chase love. You are here to attract alignment. You are not here to repeat karmic cycles. You are here to transcend them. You are not broken. You are holy. You are not weak. You are sacred. You are not just chosen. You are sovereign. So as this message ends, your journey begins again. but this time with eyes wide open, heart fully aware, and spirit fiercely protected. You are stepping into a new frequency, one where intimacy no longer confuses you but clarifies you. One where connection no longer scatters your energy but sanctifies it. One where you no longer give yourself away to be loved, but love yourself enough to wait for what is divine. From this moment forward, let your body be a temple. Let your boundaries be prayer. Let your discernment be protection. Let your pleasure be pure. Let your energy be sacred. Let your life be aligned. And let every breath you take remind you you are not ordinary. You are chosen, and now you are sovereign. If this message resonated with your soul, if you feel the weight of these words activating something deep within you, then comment 999 right now as a sign of completion, the end of confusion, the end of shame, the end of spiritual misalignment. Like this video if it brought you clarity. Share it with another chosen one who needs to hear this. Subscribe and join this movement of awakening. Your time has come. Your healing has begun. Your light is unstoppable. We'll meet again on the path of the sacred.